Hello, friend, and welcome to this prenatal yoga for your third trimester. As you can see, I'm right along with you in this video, third trimester over here. So this practice is one that's really blessing me right now. We do a little bit of floor work, a little bit of standing work to build some strength, but really to help baby get in the right position for labor and help ease some of our own anxieties that we may be feeling about the journey to come. So helpful things to have on hand for this practice. If you have one or two yoga blocks, go ahead and grab them. If you don't, not a big deal. They just make moving around a bit easier as your belly grows. So if you don't have them, maybe just have a chair or like a coffee table nearby that you can use to sort of help you get up and down. And then I just have a bath towel here. We're gonna sit on it later, and having some height underneath your hips makes stretching when you're seated also just a bit easier. So hopefully you can find some props around your house to use. If not, not a big deal. But let's jump in and do some yoga. Hello friends, let's begin in a seated position on our mats. Hopefully you have something you can sit on, like a blanket or towel or pillow, so that this is a bit more accessible. And we'll start just by establishing a sense of presence and connection with our breath. So put one hand over your heart and one hand over your belly. If it feels safe to do so, close your eyes, relax your shoulders and your jaw. And just feel your breath rise to meet your hands. As we look ahead to birthing our babies, preparing for labor, there are so many metaphors out there in books and teachings and podcasts about what labor is like. But friends, what I want to remind you of in today's class, what I invite us to meditate on, is this idea that there is labor, but there is reward. It's not just work for the sake of work or exhaustion for the sake of exhaustion. It's not stretching just for the sake of stretching, but there is a reward at the end of it. There is labor, but there is reward. So let that be your mantra today, the reminder that you keep coming back to as we move through these postures, as we prepare our bodies for the labor that is today and that is to come. May we hold tight to the hope of reward. May our eyes be open to the reward of today. Take a nice big breath in. Open your eyes and reach your arms over your head. And then as you exhale, lower your right hand down to the floor. Take a bend over to the right side. Breathe especially into the left side of your body. Beautiful. And then inhale back upright. And exhale, take your bend over to the left side. Good. And then as you inhale, come back up to the center. Place your hands on your knees or your shins. And as you breathe in, round your shoulders away from your ears. Tip your chest up for a seated cow. And then as you exhale, round your shoulders forward. Drop your chin and really round your whole spine back and away. A few more times like this. Inhale to arch your spine forward. You don't need to do much arching in your low back, but really in your upper back. And then exhale, rounding. Good. Take maybe 3 more of these on your own, going at your own pace, letting your breath guide the movement. Jesus tells us in Matthew 11, he invites us, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavily burdened, and I will give you rest." That's you, that's me, friend. All of us who labor are heavily burdened, right? Our body weight is physically higher because of all the extra things we're carrying. Come to the Lord and he will give you rest. Good. After your next cat pose, come back upright, just into a long spine seated position. Roll your shoulders up to your ears, down your back, and then drop your head over to the right side. Extend your left fingertips out away from your ear. Maybe you roll your left wrist a couple of times here. Good. And then maybe you drop your chin down towards your armpit and kind of softly rock your neck forward and back, easing into the stretch. Good. And then roll your chin down into your chest. Relax your left hand and take your head over to your left shoulder. Again, relax both shoulders, drop them away from your ears, and then maybe extend your right arm away, rolling your wrist here a time or two, and maybe rocking your chin down and up. That's it. Good. One more time. Come back up to the center, lifting your head all the way up, rolling your shoulders again here, nice and big. Beautiful. And then let's come forward onto our hands and our knees. Good. Feet, knees can be as wide as they need to be to make space for baby, but shoulders will hopefully be stacked over your wrists. Good. And then let's just take a couple rounds of cat and cow here. So really arching the top of your spine forward and then rounding through your whole spine, especially your low back. Good. And again, inhale to lift up. Exhale to round. Nice. Come back to the center now and extend your right leg back behind you, toes on the floor, and just press your heel back towards the back of your mat. If you want to walk your hands forward a couple inches to give you a bit more leverage here in the stretch, you can. This pose will help stretch the backs of your calf, the back of your knee, the sole of your foot, often parts of our bodies that get pretty swollen in the later days of pregnancy. Good. And then keep your right leg straight. Just put your heel on the floor. You're going to open up into a side plank. So your right arm will lift up to the ceiling. And you can reach your right arm over your ear to find a really beautiful stretch and opening through the right side of your body. Nice. On your exhale, return to hands and knees. We'll do a little bit more calf massage and stretching here before we do this on the left side. So from a tabletop position, what you'll do is take your left shin, really the top of your left ankle, and put it on the meaty part of your right calf. So first start by kind of snuggling it in just behind your knee, and then you'll slowly rock your weight back to sit on your left heel, your left calf. And if you're grimacing right now, if you're feeling the massage, you're doing it right. Only go as far as as it feels good to go, right? We're going to massage this tight part of our body, so there's going to be a little bit of discomfort, but we never want to harm ourselves or for there to be pain. Good. And then let's just slowly slide your left shin down your right calf a little bit more. So you're really using the bone of your left shin or the top of your ankle to help knead out this muscle. Good. And we'll take maybe about 20 more seconds, 30 more seconds to explore this. So keep sliding your left shin down your right calf, finding those points of tension, and see if rather than squeezing your shoulders, clenching your jaw, constricting your breath, you can soften into this. Find a sense of rest amidst the labor. Find the reward in the labor. Good. And then come back to a regular old tabletop. Extend your left leg back behind you, toes on the floor. Stretch out the back of your left calf, your Achilles tendon, the sole of your foot. Beautiful. And now spin your left heel down onto the mat. Lift your left arm up for your side plank. Reaching your left hand over your ear. Nice. Take a breath in here. And then as you exhale, return to your hands and your knees. And we'll take now our right shin, the top of our right ankle, nestle it behind the back of your left knee, and slowly sit your weight back so that you're putting a bit of pressure on that right shin bone to massage your left calf. And take the next minute or so just to work this release. So you'll slowly slide your right shin farther down your left calf. trying to find a sense of ease and softening in the midst of this. In prenatal yoga, we'll often throw in a handful of poses that are really uncomfortable. Some would say painful, not really enjoyable, to help sort of coach ourselves into using the tools that we have to deal with intense sensation. Noticing what our natural inclination is, which for most of us is to clench up and stop breathing nice and slowly. But can we relax into the sensation, use our breath, use movement, use mantra, use visualization to help us get through? Using this promise of God, all you who labor and are heavy burdened, come to me and I will give you rest. Good. Slowly come back to your tabletop position. That will be the last mean thing we do in class today, I promise. Good. And we'll take downward dog. If you don't want to take downward dog and child's pose is really calling to you, take that instead. If you'd like to find downward dog, tuck your toes, lift your knees and hips. This is another really great stretch for the back of your legs. Really nice lengthening of your spine and a really great pose for what we call optimal fetal position, to get baby head down and position the right way so that they can be birthed. Beautiful. If you're in downward dog, lower your knees. If you have blocks, put your hands on blocks, and we're going to come to stand at the top of our mat. Blocks make that movement just a bit easier. If you don't have them, not a big deal, but come to stand at the top of your mat. Lift your arms over your head. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart and sit back into your chair pose. So feet are hip distance or wider to make space for baby, probably wider at this point. Bring your hands to your belly now. Hips go back, chest lifts up. Take a big full breath into your belly and then a long, slow breath out, like you're blowing out 100 birthday candles. Once you've blown out your very last candle, inhale and stand up straight. Exhale, sit back into your chair, a long, slow breath out, like you'd blown up a balloon, and now you were like slowly letting the air come out by just pinching the top of the balloon and the air is escaping. When you need to inhale again, stand back up, big breath in. One last time, long, slow breath out as you sit back into your chair. Really nice. Good. Inhale to stand all the way back up. And then exhale, bring your hands to your thighs, fold yourself forwards, hanging here in a forward fold. Again, legs are as wide as they need to be to make space for baby. If this makes you feel dizzy or nauseous, stay lifted up through your spine. Good. And then we'll step our left foot back so that we're in a warrior two pose. So you'll spin your back heel down so that it lines up with the back edge of your mat. You'll bend into your right knee. Hips and belly will point towards the long edge of your mat as your arms open out into a T shape. Really nice. Good. As you inhale, lift your right arm up and back to reverse your warrior. As you exhale, return to warrior two. Inhale, straighten your front leg, lift your arms overhead, even out your hips, and then again, exhale back into warrior two. One more time like this. Inhale, flip your palm, tip it up and back to reverse. Exhale, return to warrior two. Nice. Inhale, straighten both legs, lift both arms, and then exhale, return to warrior two. Really nice. Hands come to your hips now. Point both feet to the long edge of your mat. And with a nice long spine, can you exhale and fold yourself forward? If you want to grab one of your blocks or both of them, you can here, or just put your fingertips on the floor. Good. Let your head soften down. This is another great shape to take to help baby get into an optimal position for birth. It's also a really great shape to take to help relieve some pressure off your pelvic floor. If it just feels really heavy, this is a nice relief from that. Good. And then with your fingertips on the blocks or on the floor, you're going to heel toe your feet into a squat. If you have placenta previa, or pubic symphysis, don't do this. Please just stay in your wide-legged forward fold. Or if your baby is breech and you're like 38, 39 weeks, don't do this. Stay in your wide-legged forward fold. Otherwise, heel toe your feet in and see if you can soften your hips down towards your heels. We'll hang here in this squat just for 2 more breaths. You can use your hands on the blocks or the floor to support you if you need. Good. And then on your second exhale, straighten your legs, come back to a forward fold. Nice. We're going to come back to stand at the top of our mat. So walk your hands over to the front of the mat, step your back foot forward, hang in your forward fold, and then bring your hands to your thighs and nice and slowly stand all the way up. As you inhale, lift your arms over your head, and as you exhale, hands together at your heart. Stay here for 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 breaths. Reminding yourself that there is labor, but there is reward. This labor may feel harder than it did a month ago or 2 months ago or 12 months ago. But there is reward on the other end of it. All right, let's take this sequence on the other side. So hands to thighs to fold forward. This time step your right foot back for warrior 2. Arms will lift up. Chest, belly, hips point to the right side of the mat. As you inhale, reverse your warrior. And as you exhale, return to warrior 2. Inhale to straighten both legs, lift your arms overhead, grow long. And then exhale, return back to your warrior 2. One more time, just like this. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale, warrior 2. Good. Now straighten both legs again. Point both feet to the long edge of your mat. Hands to your hips. And we'll fold again fold once more in half for this wide-legged forward fold. Now, if you want to bend into one knee and then the other, exploring more of a stretch in your inner thighs or your groin, that could feel really nice. If you want to kind of rock forward and back on the soles of your feet, that could feel really nice. Good. Again, if you have placenta previa or pubic symphysis or your baby is breech and you are at full term, I'm going to encourage you to stay in this position. Otherwise, heel toe your feet in. Begin to settle your hips down towards your heels, sitting in your squat. You may love this, you may hate this. You may hate this now and come labor time, love it. But we don't practice. We don't practice. So we're going to practice this birthing position now, and maybe it's something you use as you're laboring. See if you can relax your pelvic floor, soften your shoulders, find your breath. Good. And then let's fold back forward, straighten your legs. Everyone walk your hands to the front of your mat. Step back forward into your forward fold. Good. Hands find your thighs really slowly. Come all the way up to stand. Arms overhead as you breathe in. And exhale, hands to your heart as you breathe out. Good. Put your hands back on your thighs. Fold yourself back in half. Step one foot and then the other foot back so you're in a tabletop position. Walk your hands forward a few inches and slide your hips forward so you're in a supported plank. We're just going to do one push-up here. So hug your elbows and lower down. Good. And then press yourself up and back into a child's pose. Knees wide, wide, wide. If child's pose just is not comfortable for you, then you can sit upright on your heels and take a few breaths there. Wherever you are, can you again close your eyes, soften in, deepen your breath. Right? Labor isn't one long contraction. There are periods of rest. In those moments of rest, can you hear the Lord inviting you, come to me. I will give you rest. Good. If you are in child's pose, lift yourself back up. We'll all just come to sit down on our mats. Good. And we're going to take an outer hip stretch that's a bit more gentler than like a figure 4, ankle to knee, but similar shape. So what you'll do is take your right shin out in front of you and out to the side, kind of at like a 45-degree angle. And then your left shin is going to come forward and out to the side at about a 45-degree angle. So you're making sort of this Z shape with your shins. And if that's just not accessible for you, then what you can do is straighten your left leg out in front of you and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Good. And then what we'll do is fold forward over our right shin. Take a moment if you can and just slide some of the meat out from under your seat so that you're sitting well on your sit bones. It can really hinge forward and fold. And find just a nice stretch in your outer hips. It's not going to be super intense. It's not meant to be super intense. It's meant to invite us into this place of softness and surrender. Finding the reward of not pushing ourselves beyond our limits, but being present with the current sensation. Good. On your next exhale, press yourself back up. Good. Slide both feet onto the mat in front of you. Keep them nice and wide and just kind of sway your knees side to side. Good. We'll come into this pose from a slightly different way. This might be more easy for you. You'll sway your legs over to the left side and just kind of let them fall. Your left shin should be more in front of you. Your right shin will be more to the side of you. Climb up onto your fingertips. And then again, fold yourself forward. Even in this season, these last few weeks of pregnancy, there is a sense of laboring towards a finish line. There's a sense of weariness that may set in as your sleep gets interrupted, as you become more uncomfortable, as the anxiety about what's to come perhaps increases. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavily burdened, and I will give you rest. Beautiful. Come all the way back upright. We're going to close. We'll actually bring both feet to the mat first. Let's sway our knees again side to side here. Good. And then we'll close our practice in a seated position. If you have the time and space, you want to lie down on your side and take a couple minutes of Shavasana, please do that. If you want to end here now, then place one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly. Like we did at the beginning of class, close your eyes, soften all the muscles in your face and your shoulders. Find your breath meeting your hands. And just imagine yourself unburdening your load at the feet of Jesus. Laying down the anxiety, the fear, the what ifs, the am I enough, the what will it be likes. Give that to him now. Receive his rest. Receive his reward. God, we thank you for this journey and your presence with us in the midst of it. We ask for your strength and your rest as we near delivery day and step into this new season. We thank you that you are near. Remind us of that again and again in these coming days. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, friend. I hope this practice blessed you, body, mind, heart, and spirit. Hey, I'd love to connect with you on this journey of pregnancy and postpartum life, so come follow along with me on Instagram at Caroline W. Yoga. I'd love to connect with you there. Until then, be blessed as you prepare for this new season of life.